All right, welcome everybody. We're going to resume the regular meeting. It's on. Yeah. We're going to reconvene the regular meeting at 7:31. Chad, would you lead us in the flag salute, please?
Stand, right hand over heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Copy of the civility statement. Mr. Falsgraf, would you read the civility statement for us, please?
In conducting the district's business, we will communicate clearly and concisely with respect for the time of others, listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others, understand counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors, understand and respect district policies and procedures, and maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past. I have an item of business, President.
Yes, Mr. Falsgraf.
I would move that we would pull the business item B, the Vasquez cameras, off of the agenda until it is brought forward as an information item with a recommendation from the superintendent. Can I have a second on that?
I'll second. Discussion.
Do we call the question, please?
Call the question.
Jensen, I.
Falsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Thank you.
So you have that that's going to be tabled until action item for your presentation for that.
Correct, that's correct, President Jorgensen, thank you.
Okay, regarding closed session, from closed session, we have nothing to report at this time. Item number 6, public comments, recognition and reports. Please submit a request to speak to the board of trustees, card located at the exit table, or any agendized or non-agendized items to the superintendent prior to the meeting. Not more than 3 minutes are allotted for any one speaker, more than 20 minutes on the same subject. This portion of the agenda is for comments, recognitions, and reports to the board and is not intended as a question and answer period. If you have questions for the board, please provide the board president with a written copy, and an administrator will be glad to answer at a later date. Do we have any?
Yes, Mr. Jorgensen, we have one speaker card.
Tracy Consent? Costas? Tracy here? There she is. Hey, Tracy.
I'm speaking on an agenda item. Is that
Did you want to do that now or you want to wait till the agenda?
I can do it now.
That's fine. You're familiar with just say your name for the record, please, and you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Tracy Costa. I'm here today as a parent, not for the newspaper. I just urge you all, when you get to the school mint agenda item, to please discuss it. I want to hear what each of you have to say on it. I just don't want I because staff recommends it. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. It's only $13,000. I would rather see this money go back to the kids. I looked up School Mint and I think that we have paid staff that can do this. So it concerns me that it's on the agenda for approval, and I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about it. So that's basically all I have to say. Thank you.
Correspondence, proposals, reports. Now, representative. Hold on a second there, Mr. Sparks. I skipped it. 6B, golden spotlight, Mr. Dr. Sasay. Dr. Sahai.
I forget my name once in a while too,
Yeah,
so
well-
no worries there. Mr.
Well,
Jorgensen, good evening, everybody. Exciting part of the evening, always, the golden spotlight. In October, the High Desert Hawks were challenged to write a 300 to 400 word essay entitled, "How Can I Be a Good American?" Conducted nationwide, this VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, sponsored youth essay competition gives students the opportunity to write essays expressing their views on an annual patriotic theme. It was inspiring to see the High Desert students reflect on the qualities they can embody in their youth as representatives of what it means to be a good American. We have wonderful photos of recipients who are here this evening that you can see on the slides. 4 High Desert students took on the challenge and all 4 placed, which earned them scholarships from the local VFW Quartz Hill Post. The VFW Quartz Hill Post is in District 5. The first place winner from each local post moves on to the district level, and that first place winner moves on to the state and national level. Local VFW Quartz Hill Post scholarship winners are, and if you hear your name, please stand up so you could be recognized. First place, Francis Cabrera. Mr. Francis Cabrera will be reading the award-winning essay for us this evening. I hope you knew that. Second place, Michaela Williams. Third place tie between Joaquin Mejia and Michael Williams. I think I got that flipped. So I do apologize. Let me repeat that one more time. Second place, Michael Williams. Michaela. Okay, Michaela Williams, second place. Third place tie between Joaquin Mejia and Michael Williams. I do want to add that Michael Williams also placed first at the Palmdale Post, so congratulations to Michael as well. This is High Desert's second year participating in the contest and our second year taking home first and second place. Last year's winner was Francis's older brother, Augustine. Yes. Second place tie with a student from another school was Victoria Seymour. So, congratulations to them. We have 2 students who posted first. We have Michael Williams as well as Francis Cabrera. Can we start by hearing Francis's award-winning essay at the podium? Francis?
Make sure his mic's working.
First, I would like to thank the veterans of foreign wars for giving kids the opportunity to reflect and write about our country. I also want to thank the teachers and staff from the Acton Agua Dulce School District for helping me succeed academically, and to my parents for teaching me good values. How can I be a good American? Our founding fathers built America on the basis of opportunity, equality, rights, liberty, and democracy. These deep-rooted principles apply to all citizens who have the responsibility to honor them by putting them into practice. Good Americans enforce these principles in a remarkable manner, and this makes me wonder, how can I be a good American? It is constantly said that America is the land of opportunity. Therefore, it's in all of us to seize every opportunity to work on the things that help our country move forward. Being a productive member of society will lead to bigger advancements and better benefits. As a student, I can contribute by condemning what is wrong and preventing bad incidents from occurring once more. Because of this, I follow my school guidelines as well as passing them on to friends and classmates. I also value my education, including my teachers, my principal, and also my parents. All of them teach me very valuable lessons every single day, motivating me and preparing me for what could come in the near future, and I'm grateful for having them by my side. Just like Thomas Jefferson stated in the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal, to refer to the people of our country as one. We should embrace these words to promote people's rights and liberties. True Americans don't just think of themselves, but show an altruistic sentiment for their country. The efforts of our forefathers who fought for our rights and freedom with great determination paved the way for generations to come so we can enjoy the nation we have today. In the same way, today, our valiant Americans who serve in the armed forces with passion and courage sacrifice their lives fighting for our rights. I feel proud and inspired by them because they set a brilliant example of patriotism. So, how can I be a good American? Well, the best way of being a good American is to adopt and utilize those fundamental principles that forged our country in my daily life. I would like to be the one to pass the torch of wisdom and determination to my peers so that they can become good Americans as well. I believe that only by doing so, we'll come out stronger and more unified as a nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis. We know why you placed first. Michael Williams declined to read his award-winning essay, so we respect Michael, but we hope that he doesn't decline a photo opportunity along with the other award winners.
Is he going to read the second one?
No, Michael declined, but I hope he doesn't decline a photo opportunity with the board.
Right. Before we do the photo, I'd like to run down the board if any board members have any comments regarding the presentation.
Well, as a teacher, I'm always excited to see students not only be involved in writing, but to win is awesome. So we know Port Hills has some good writers too. So young man, what a great example you are. And your essay was beautiful in a time when, you know, you see so much on the news about our country. So I personally, it touched my heart very much. And I can see why you're the winner. So thank you for representing our school district. And thank you to all the teachers that have taught you to be such a great writer, and your parents. Thank you, parents, for teaching your son such great values. And obviously it runs in your family. Is this your daughter?
Yes.
What grade are you in? Okay, so you're starting to write. So we'll be looking for your essay in a couple of years. Yeah, no pressure. No pressure. Yes. And Ms. Fenhorn, thank you for giving your students this opportunity to participate in such a great thing. So, and students, if you don't want to read them, we understand. Maybe you like to write, but you don't like to speak so much, but maybe you'll share a copy or something so we could read them later. I would love that. So thank you so much. And thank you for parents for all that you do.
Before I make my comments, I would like to invite Ms. Van Ornum up to the podium and tell us about how this program is developed in your school and how your students became involved. Tell us about this. This is impressive to me, please.
Sure. Okay. Is it on?
It's not very loud. So you gotta use
Okay,
your voice.
I'll use my teacher voice. Then I might not need this. Last year, it came to our attention that the VFW had this contest. There's a middle school level competition called the Patriots Pen, which is an essay contest. And there's a high school one that actually is a video project. So we thought, okay, I think our students could really do this. And it melds immediately with our Medal of Honor program and our character development program that we talk about with courage and integrity and patriotism. And so even though we were on distance learning last year, we thought we'll give it a go. Let's see if our students might take this on in distance learning. And we had 6 students submit essays last year, even during distance learning. And they were absolutely phenomenal. We were blown away by their essays and their sincerity. Last year's topic was, what is patriotism? And we were hoping to be able to recognize Augustine last year. And so we actually started with making a video of the kids reading their essays. So there is a video of Augustine and Victoria from last year. Last year's first, we had a first place and a tie for second last year. And so there's a video of both of their essays. And what started out when we were at the VFW at the award ceremony, we started out thinking there was one recipient. And then come to find out there was another, and then come to find out there was another. And when we got there, we realized High Desert swept first through third place. Every single one of our students that submitted an essay placed out of all of the essays. So that's pretty incredible for our students, and a huge tribute to their teachers, their parents, for teaching them good values. And I know all of these kids personally, and I think that their teachers and their parents would also tell you they're good Americans anyway. And so they had a lot of life experience to write about that makes them amazing. And you know, I feel like High Desert helps build that within students with our Medal of Honor character development programs. So between parents and kids that are amazing, and the program, it was a great meld for us, and we're super proud of our students and their participation in the program.
Okay, so I've told you this a couple of times, I'm not big on Hallmark cards. I like numbers, I like performance. And this is how I measure the performance of a site principal. Congratulations. Give these kids an opportunity. This is very important to me. Tell you why. If I were in your class and my friends were in your class, you would have no voice left at the end of the first day. But for some reason, I decided to join the debate team. And while getting a D- in debate, and the only reason I was getting a D- is I couldn't compete in competitions if I had an F. Don't use that tactic, guys. But my partner and I qualified to go state championship in debating. We never got to go because it snowed. We should have took snowmobiles. I would have loved to know what it was like to have the first place trophy in my hand. But these types of things, kids, are so important, because in writing skills, when you're writing to people who have served this country, when you're writing to adults who will open doors for you, you need to be objective. You need to see both sides of an issue. And then you become objective. You start putting your issues aside, and it helps you understand how people may feel, so you can work together. I would encourage you to find out what debating is, because debating will take you to law school. Trust me on that one. I'm very proud of each and every one of you. I want to see you all in here next year. I want to make sure that none of the other places are filled by any other school except my school. Okay? Brianna. Yes.
All of these students submitted their video, and it will be available so that you can hear all of their essays. I didn't mention, so we've started kind of a tradition of we're going to make a video out of their essays. So that's
Great. I want to see those so I can use their work as my own. Thank you.
Huge congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to all of you parents. Thank you for coming and spending the evening with us and sharing your talents and sharing your kids. Thank you for raising incredible kids. And I, like Michelle, do know every one of these kids personally. And I do agree they all are fantastic individuals all the time. Your kids are great, and it takes courage to put yourself out there. So congratulations on having that courage. It takes courage to get up and read in front of people. So you are awesome. You guys are all just incredible. So just congratulations. Thank you.
Good evening. Congratulations to all you guys. Your speech was great. I appreciate you giving me or reading your speech and understanding the importance of being a good American. We live in a time where this country's so divided in so many different issues, but at the end of the day, and it seems like you kind of captured it in your speech, that it doesn't matter the color of your skin, the color of your hair, or your eyes. We all bleed the same color, and we can have differences of opinion, and it's okay to debate them. But when you start to hold a grudge against somebody or a cause, that's where we start to have a breakdown. So it's awesome to see at your age that you're engaged in your learning this and willing to talk about it. So keep it up. All of you guys did really good. I can't wait to see the videos when posted, and congratulations, Van Ornum, for putting together such a good program. Keep up the good work, kids.
Well, congratulations to everybody. And it was Francis, right? Congratulations to you. And was it Michael or Michaela? The other first place that didn't want to read. I'm going to read yours, whoever does. I'm looking for the videos. As a veteran, I'm always appreciative of students making that connection with their older generations. And I know my dad, when he came down, when I was still teaching at the high school, he was a prisoner of war in World War II. And he was always enthralled and excited about the connection when students started looking at their ancestors, their aunts, their uncles, their grandparents, and made that connection. Miss Van Ornum in the Medal of Honor program at High Desert is just one of those other connections where they get to make it connecting the generations, going along with what Chad is talking about. We can have differences, but there's so much more that we have alike than we do different. So congratulations to you all. Very good speech there, Francis. I really enjoyed it. I'll be looking forward to looking at the videos. Congratulations to you all. Are we going to have the photo with the students up front?
I sure hope so. So yes, going back to the photo opportunity, so that we get everybody in the frame. We could start off with Francis Cabrera and his family and the board. So if you can meet us down here in front of the dais, please. And then we'll go to Michaela, and then Michael, and then Joaquin and Augustine. And you'll get just all the student letters. Yeah. You're going to do really good, right? Good job. Congratulations. Yes. Michaela and Michael. The family, and then we'll have all the students. Then we'll have all the students come back. There we go. There we go. Come down over there.
She's not so tall now.
I know it's already up.
Good job.
Okay, now all the kids, right?
Yes, and then let's just get the students.
All the students. But we have a couple more.
Yeah, miss one.
Yes, so we have more families first. We have one each. There we go.
No,
There you
no,
go.
you were right. Yes, that's all.
There we go. Congratulations.
All right, now all the students. Together.
I'm going to go photo bomb in the back.
Here we go.
There it is. And Ms. Van Ornum, do you want to join us?
Ken, would you like to? Yeah. All right.
Bunch them up, Michelle.
What's that? Okay. All right. Make sure you guys smile.
Big round of applause.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thanks to the parents too.
Good job. Now we're ready, right? All right, let's go to item number 7, correspondence, proposals, and reports. Mr. Sparks. Add a representation, add a representative.
Hello, my name is Sheldon Sparks. I appreciate you having me tonight. It's good to see you guys. Welcome back from the holidays. Hope everybody is doing really well. There we go. Can you hear me now? Okay, again, it's good to see you all. Coming back has been a little bit challenging, to say the least. Remember, I just hold a picture up. Doesn't mean I'm creating it. I'm just kind of explaining the journey that we're on right now. We come back and we are shorthanded terribly. Obviously, you guys can't control that. Obviously, society can't control that. COVID is messing with our staffs. We are down teachers, we are down yard duties, we're down office personnel. And the workload doesn't change, right? And so even though we might have 4 or 5 teachers missing off of one campus, we still have the same number of students. We have still the same responsibility of educating those students. And so we are struggling at that end, to be honest with you. Morale's low. I'll tell you that, be honest with you, just straight up. A lot of people are frustrated. That's the key word, is frustration. It manifests itself in a lot of different ways. You see this year a lot more complaints, a lot more angst, a lot more conversations that aren't always positive. We have staff who are resigning mid-year. That frustration level is growing because it's nothing that you can control. It's the state that controls it. But for more than 600 days, we've been in this, asking teachers to navigate the trenches, to teach multiple different ways. Believe it or not, the way we're doing it right now is so difficult because you have half your class quarantined and the other half on campus. I have students who have been quarantined 4, 5, 6 different times. Think about that, 60 days that they have missed their education. Some of them never get it. It's just an exposure. So hopefully the county's guidelines that came out this week address that. Hopefully we get some relief from that. But it's the students long-term who are suffering. It affects them in a lot of different ways. It affects them educationally. So again, I work in the trenches. You guys got kids that go here. You have friends and families. It's a small community. There's holes, there's deficiencies, there is concerns, and how are we going to navigate this? Is this the MO for the next 5, 6 months? Is this the MO for next year? Okay, we don't have those answers, and there's people just as like, okay, this profession is not worth it anymore. And again, I don't want to come up here and complain. Okay, I love this job. A lot of teachers love being in this position. They love being in this community. It's difficult to work in this district. It is. You have the higher dollar between both ways. I can go north, I can go south. We don't come here for the money. We come here for the quality of working here. And so I hope that you recognize the problem. I hope you see the problem. I know you don't have the answers. I wish you did. I wish you could just say, okay, throw these things away. Okay, we're going to do this. And I know you don't have that opportunity, but I do want you to know that right now, the way we're doing it is not very successful. And the people who are suffering, our customers, our families, are the ones that are feeling it the most. I'll get off the negative, sorry. I wanted to give a shout out to Mrs. Chun. Obviously, we had a turnover of leadership there. She stepped up. Again, ADA is committed and partners with this district. Yes, we might complain to you. Yes, we might have our issues, but we are committed to making sure that we serve this community. And so Mrs. Chen, obviously, if all the staff members, of course, she's going to step up, and she's done a fabulous job. And I just want you to, I hope you recognize that ADA does go above and beyond. The people who work the hardest sometimes are the ones that have that crosshairs on them. And so I hope you're seeing that people are putting in great effort. Anyways, I appreciate each and every one of you. I wouldn't want your job, but I thank you for your friendship. Mr. Jorgensen, it was good to catch up and hear your stories about the trailers and putting together the gym and just sharing that kind of nostalgia. Appreciated that. Appreciate each and every one of you. We have conversations. We know each other. We've worked with each other now for a long time. And I just thank you, each one of you. Thanks again.
Thank you, Mr. Sparks. CSEA representative? No one? Student representative to the board?
For the update regarding Vasquez, just coming back to school after winter break, it's been honestly kind of depressing to see that there has been a lot of kids quarantined. In most of my classes, we have less than 10 kids at a time, but I'm glad to see that a lot of them are starting to actually be able to come back. Unfortunately, we have more postponed. I'm not sure when that will be replanned. And then winter formal is being planned by our junior class. And then is a new thing we're trying to implement at Vasquez are Mustang Bucks, which will be a positive reinforcement incentive to just help kids, just given kind of that motivation to just be good students. And regarding sports, a lot of them have been postponed for a while, but we're finally getting back into it with the girls soccer team has a game tomorrow at 4 versus Santa Clarita Christian, and boys basketball has a game versus Faith Baptist on Saturday at 11. And our softball and baseball are preparing for season. And then one more thing is CSF, California Scholarship Federation. Applications are available and they are due, I believe, next Friday to the library, and they just basically are a good opportunity to help students who do keep their grades up, get recognition that they deserve later on once they graduate. And then regarding High Desert, PIST met to develop a positive behavior system, including incentives to increase positive behavior at the middle school. Soccer tryouts started this week and will continue into next week. Practice, they hope to build a team by the end of January, and practice will start the last week of January. And then an MOH webinar with an MOH recipient will be next week. And then finally, regarding the elementary school medal arc, this is from Ms. Chun, email I received today. She says, we were just thrilled to return to all of our classes and engage in various learning activities. In December, they had an ASMO music performances, pictures with Santa courtesy of the VHS class of 2023, and the holiday shop. They welcome back PBIS assembly for grades K through 12, or TK through 2, sorry, on January 5th. The same assembly for 3rd and 4th graders will be rescheduled. They participated in an immersive history learning experience and a walk through the California history. And their next Spirit Day is Historical Figure Day, which is scheduled for the 28th. That's all I have to report.
Thank you, Ms. Rudd. The superintendent gold standard report.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. Haley's a hard act to follow, but I'll give it a try. This evening, I'll be covering the following strategic initiatives that you see on your screen. Effective instruction and leadership, community engagement, and utilization of fiscal capital. I'll start off by effective instruction and leadership. In the spirit of congratulations, Schools to Watch is a national network of over 400 schools in 17 states. California is the largest state participant. Schools that apply to become Schools to Watch in the fall submit an application that is reviewed by experienced middle grade experts in their state. If the application is approved, the school hosts a validation visit. The school meets the qualifications. The school becomes a California School to Watch in March and a National School to Watch designation. California Schools to Watch program is operated by the California League of Schools as well as CDE, California Department of Education. On Monday, January 10th, Principal Van Ornum, myself, and Mr. Scott Steele, you can see on your screen to the right in the Zoom tiles. Mr. Steele, very gracious, he's a state director for League of Schools, met with us virtually to share highlights of the Schools to Watch redesignation application. The district in High Desert is delighted, to say the least, to announce that after a rigorous application process, High Desert was enthusiastically endorsed as a redesignated California and National School to Watch. High Desert was, yes. High Desert was originally designated as a school to watch back in 2012, proudly redesignated in 2015, 2018, and of course, 2022. Thank you to the redesignation application writing team for all of their hard work in highlighting the programs, events, activities, all the enrichment opportunities provided to High Desert students, really to make it a school to watch designation. The team includes, and thank you to Ms. Alford, Mrs. Rosenfeld, Mr. Pelham, and Principal Van Ornum. Once again, round of applause to all the participants for making this happen. The next strategic initiative, community engagement. I'd like to go ahead and thank the Lions Club. They generously offered 5 vision certificates for up to 5 students here at our district. The vision certificate allows for a free eye examination and at least 1 pair of glasses. This is, of course, at no cost to the student and to the family. Thus far, we had 2 students that took advantage of this generous opportunity. A big thank you to Ms. Sandra Beck from the Lions Club. Thank you. We value and appreciate your partnership with our wonderful district. The third category, utilization of fiscal capital. Pursuant to the Ed Code Section 42131, LA County Superintendent of Schools, County Superintendent has completed a review of our district's 21-22 first interim report with a positive certification. Thank you to Mr. Mirza and his team for their diligence. The district's 21-22 first interim report reflects declining enrollment with projected funding average daily attendance of 979 for this current school year, 881 for 22-23, and 868 for 23-24 academic calendar. This rate of projected decline in enrollment represents a loss of revenue for the district in the current and future years. LACO does recommend that the district continue to assess and adjust staffing needs and facilities planning for upcoming years, just based on the projections of the declining enrollment that I just shared. Moving forward, Governor of California, Newsom, releases January budget proposal on January 10th, officially kicking off the 22-23 budget season. Increased funding for declining enrollment, transitional kindergarten, expanded learning opportunities are the highlights of the governor's budget. And I'll just go through a few with you this evening of the highlights. Proposition 98, state is experiencing a budget surplus of 16.1 billion that would go to Prop 98 funding. This funding typically guarantees a minimum level of funding for public schools and community colleges to keep up with the pace of growth within populations, student populations. A 5.33 COLA for LCFF, local control funding, and categorical programs outside of LCFF include special ed, child nutrition, and mandate block grant. Commitment to universal TK Governor proposes 639.2 million to fund expanded eligibility for TK children who turn 5 between September 2nd and February 2nd. The governor proposes an additional 3.4 billion in ongoing Prop 98 general funds for ELO grant funds, expanded learning opportunities. Early literacy. To increase grade level reading proficiency for children, the governor proposes providing 500 million in one-time Prop 98 general funds over 5 years. In addition, special education, the proposed budget provides an additional 500 million in ongoing Prop 98 general funds for the special education funding formula. The governor's budget proposes approximately 2.3 billion in additional school facilities funding over 2 years for new construction and modernization needs. Transportation has also been addressed in this proposal for green buses for districts. Moving to nutrition, governor plan dedicates 596 million through Proposition 98 general funds to provide universal access to subsidized school meals. This budget proposal also mentions 450 million in one-time Prop 98 general funds over 3 years to upgrade school kitchens and 3 million one-time Prop 98 funds for school breakfast and summer meal startups and expansion grant programs. There is no relief, however, for school employer pension contributions. This in turn will be an impact directly to the districts, meaning the districts will be paying higher rates for the upcoming years. Again, this is a proposal. And as an LEA, we look always to the possibility of the May revisions that come from the governor's office to this proposed budget of January 10th. And this concludes my report for the evening. Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen.
I have a comment on the budget.
Mr. Falzgrove.
Do you have a copy of the letter that was sent to President Jorgensen by LACO?
We have it. I'm not sure if I have it in my possession at the moment, but
If
yes.
it pleases the board, I'd like to read into the record the part that I'm most interested in. I'll preface that with this comment. This district used to pull in $4 million a year on charter revenue that was deemed to be illegal, that we had to pay back. And so there is no way to make money off of charter. So I'm going to go into length about a discussion about something later in the business. I'm going to rehash this, but I want to make sure that everybody understands what it says in the LACO letter to President Jorgensen that says that the district's budget was certified positive, meaning we pay our debts this year, we pay our debts next year, and we're looking good for the third year. Can anybody tell me what the loss of 100 students means in millions of dollars? What's 100 times 10,000? Don't look at me, I'm a board member, I know nothing about education. So we're looking at the numbers that are the projections for this revenue to be down millions of dollars. So if we look at the deficit, we'll call it deficit, even though it was never legal to use it as a revenue source. We went into this year down $4 million to what we're used to, right?
Mhm.
And Mr. Mirza, if your budget report was correct, it sounded to me like you found $2.2 million in additional funding that's being made available for COVID and things like that. So you didn't have to turn to some grow house scam or some, you know, laugh, it's funny. Oh, I'm gonna get into this good. I want the cameras to be on. I've got mine tonight, people. So $1.8 million down from getting enough money to replace some illegal scam. Congratulations to you, sir. You should be on the front page of the newspaper for that. And I'm gonna read this to you. Charter school oversight. Education code says I should wear my glasses. Section 47604.32 requires authorizing districts to ensure each charter school under its authority complies with all reports required by law. and to monitor the fiscal solvency of those charter schools. Everyone, am I correct?
Yes.
How many people do we have in the district office? Well, if you listen to some people, they say too many, they don't know what you do. But how many people do we have running overlooking 13 charter schools? Yeah, they're gonna catch every little tiny thing, right? Oh, yeah. We have a hard enough time corralling the cats in this district. While all of the district's authorized charters are projecting positive ending balances, I want everybody to understand, all of those schools have to submit the same budget document that this school does. And then what happens when you review those? Does this staff not review those documents individually and entirely? So I think that's what you do. I think I just found what you did, right? So the balances for the 21-22 first interim report, Education Code Section 47604C specifies that an authorizing entity is not liable for the debts and obligations of an insolvent charter if it has complied with all oversight responsibilities required by law. So you three are out there looking after 30-some thousand kids and not making a dime off, but waiting for one person to sue the district over anything. What happens when you call an attorney? They're going to name everybody. And I'm going to get into MOUs and people, whatever they have to say about this. So when they call an attorney and they name you, what do you have to do? You call your attorney. The attorney goes on the clock. Is there any provision in the law for you to charge the charter back for defending themselves or screwing up and hiding? No. So where did that money come from? Our kids. Let's just talk about our kids. Mr. Van Ornum here, these award winners, it all comes from their educational budget. We therefore, this is Lakeland talking, not me. We therefore remind the district of their oversight responsibilities and the potential negative effect of the charter schools' liabilities on the district general fund and reserves if those responsibilities are not met. Not only is there no money in charters, as I've always said, but there's huge liabilities. Do not let charters steal these kids' money under my watch, please. Anyway, go find the other $1.8 million without using charter schools and grow houses. Good job to you and your team. But I wanted that read into the record. They talk about our challenges. These are challenges we can manage, but that one is scary and it always has been, and it's not going to be that for 10 years. Anybody else?
No comment. I'll comment on my board comments. I have a couple comments. But okay, we're at the
Yes, that concluded my report.
of that. So now we're ready for the COVID-19.
I think so. The data that I'll be sharing with our community this evening for the COVID report is, of course, data that's pulled from LA County Department of Public Health. 43,582 new cases reported to LA County DPH as of January 10th. Again, 43,582 as of January 10th, as compared to 941 on December 7th. That's approximately a month differential between board meeting in January and November. So of course, there is a significant surge since our last board meeting a month ago. The testing positivity rate, a 7-day average for the week of January 3rd, is at 22.64, as compared to the ending week of November of 1.24. I'd like to stress that our district's positivity rate hovers around 29%, clearly above the average for LA County. Once again, I'd like to remind our families the importance of self-check at home prior to students arriving on campus. Again, please look out for the symptoms of sore throat, coughing, fever, and shortness of breath. In addition, my wonderful team to my right and I, we've been attending a few virtual meetings this week between LACO and LA County DPH. Virtual meetings have been held between Dr. Eduardo, the LACO superintendent, and LACO staff with school districts, again, over this past week. With that said, LACO is making a number of changes that they hope will make it easier to manage cases and outbreaks at schools while keeping students and staff safe. These are temporary measures, and you'll see the outline. Alice will go ahead and project the slides. These are temporary measures to address the volume of cases due to the recent surge. At the end of January, LACO will review the impact of these modifications that I'll review and you see up on the screen for those of you at home as well. They'll review these modifications and the trajectory of the surge to determine whether or not to extend the modified approach. These changes to exposure management in schools are outlined in the slides you see. First off, case management, which includes identification and isolation of COVID-19 cases. From now through the end of January, schools should prioritize identification of COVID-19 on campus and isolation of cases. This should take precedence over other COVID-19 measures. Schools should inform parents of infected children that they need to keep their children in isolation at home to prevent further spread on campus. COVID-19 exposure management. There you go. Thank you, Alex. Schools may not have the capacity to do contact tracing given the volume of cases at this time. We have a very small staff and we're not alone when it comes to the health staff. Contact tracing is a very taxing component when it comes to district nurse and the health team. Schools that are unable to determine who is exposed to an infected individual at school may simplify exposure management by notifying the entire relevant group. For example, the classroom, the sports team, the art class, what have you, of potential exposure and providing them with instructions. There are two groups of exposed students that may remain in school if they have exposure, school exposure. Asymptomatic students that are fully vaccinated and asymptomatic students eligible for modified quarantine because they only had mask-to-mask exposure with a positive case, meaning with a positive student. These students may remain at school during the 10-day quarantine period as long as they remain asymptomatic and wear a well-fitted mask. Schools are required to have sufficient testing capacity 2 weeks after reopening from winter break to test students remaining on campus during their time on campus. I'd like to publicly thank LACO for coming through for school districts, the 80 school districts they serve. We're one of them, with a rapid test antigen test kits that are available to our parents and students for testing. Reporting COVID-19 cases and close contacts. Until the end of January, isolation of cases and exposure management are the most important strategies for limiting spread. Reporting cases and close contacts is now secondary. The last section on my COVID report, testing. Schools with limited testing capacity should prioritize response testing of staff and students with symptoms or exposures over regular weekly testing. In particular, prioritizing testing to allow asymptomatic exposed students and staff to remain in school. The end goal is to keep our doors open and students with in-person instruction, clearly. Though response testing is a priority for school testing, schools may continue to conduct weekly asymptomatic screening testing if they have enough testing capacity to do so. And again, we're very fortunate to LACO and thank them for providing additional tests. We did receive confirmation that additional tests will be sent out to the districts as well by tomorrow. Finally, in youth sports programs, weekly testing is still required for unvaccinated athletes of all ages, for students participating in indoor, moderate, or high-risk sports, and for all unvaccinated athletes aged 12 years and older, participating in outdoor and older staff participating in outdoor, moderate, or high-risk sports continues to be of concern. Typically, communication is key when these mandates and these changes and revisions take place between LA County, DPH, and LACO. We will continue to keep our families updated with any modifications or revisions as we move forward. Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen.
I have a comment. The municipality I work for decided that they were going to have drive-through testing of all their students and staff. They actually shut down about 4 blocks of street requiring police support, public works support, posting blockades, all kinds of things to do drive-through testing at great expense. This district has no Beverly Hills budget behind it or municipal effort with funds to pull off what you guys did. Their stuff happened this week. You guys were managing that last week. Logistically, I know what was going on over there. I know what a nightmare it was. Everybody was doing that, but how many people in this district did it take to pull off this successfully? Congratulations to you all.
Ms. Jensen, do you have any comments? Okay, Brianna? Chad?
No.
I just have a clarification for you, Dr. Sahak. Now, LACO has provided us with a sufficient quantity of rapid tests.
That's correct, rapid antigen tests.
And we have an ongoing supply of those. They're going to be we're not going to run out.
Well, hopefully we don't run out, but LACO is checking in with us. I know those are hard to come by and they're on back order in many places. We provide LACO the number of students that we have for each and every particular site we
Two
serve.
per student.
And then in each pack, there is 2 tests, correct?
So because my understanding of a rapid test is only in the 80%, high 80, 85, 87%, saying that the tested person, individual, is not shedding. They're not displaying and they're not shedding any virus. It doesn't say that you're, and the negativism is that you're not shedding, you're not spreading the virus. So in consequence, I've heard you say that there, that if they test negative, instead of sending them home on quarantine, they can remain on campus and in the classroom. Is that correct? They could do a rapid test at site and say, wait a minute, let's take 15 minutes, do a test. 5 students come in, 4 of them test negative. You can go back to class and that one's got to go home and test positive.
Yes, that scenario is correct.
So, because I know we've had concerns before about we having 50, 60, 80 kids going home on quarantine because we did not have the capability. We hadn't gotten the rapid test. Now LACO is providing us with a quantity of rapid tests. Are we in a position where we will have a reserve of rapid tests so that we always have some available? So we don't say, well, we're out now, we got to send everybody home.
That's correct. We're thankful to LACO, but in addition with
We can
one-time
purchase
funds.
our own.
We've
and
purchased
do it as an investment in our students. We
We've-
keep them in class.
Yes, and we've just ordered 2,000 additional
Okay,
tests.
very good.
Thank you.
So, my sister's a doctor and I pummel her all the time about this. And I want to know I want to understand the availability of testing and the rapid tests. I have them in my house. I bought them on Amazon. I keep them in my house. So if I go someplace and I feel like I'm not feeling, I'll test it before I go someplace else. I'm taking it upon myself before I go visit family members, go to a function, go to an indoor function. I test to make sure I'm not shedding any virus. I've got an 80%, I'm not guessing, I've got an 80% chance that I'm not shedding. It's better than me saying, well, I don't think I am. So this is why I want to make sure. My question to you, and I'll get off of this, is that our parents, we're having success in letting our parents know that we have rapid tests available for them to test their kids at home if they are displaying, let's do a test. Oh, sorry, you got 2 bars or whatever it is, depending on the test. You're gonna have to stay home, and then they let the school know, I'm keeping them at home today rather than send them to school, correct?
That is correct, Mr. Jorgensen. And in addition to that, our district nurse, Carrie Rice, is doing a phenomenal job, as we all know
Yes.
in this room. There are screenshots of what to do and how to report back the test results, be it negative or positive, particularly positive.
Yes.
Back to Carrie Wright. So that's in the instructions as well when they
Right.
pick up a rapid test.
So in the instance that somebody tests positive on a rapid, it doesn't mean you have, it's an 80% chance that you're shedding. Apparently you're spreading something. So okay, let's err on the side of caution. Let's quarantine. But if you're not shedding, we can keep them in the classroom with a higher degree of safety that they're going to be okay, and their students and the people in their classroom are going to be okay.
That is correct.
to cut down and to reduce, if possible, the number of students that we're sending out on quarantine,
Yes,
or the sports team that have to cancel games because we're gonna rapid test them the day before their game and tell them, you guys are fine too, if you gotta go through, you gotta go. We're not doing this. In other words, to me, the rapid test can be an incident mandated test rather than a Monday and a Wednesday.
it can be, correct.
We can, we
It could
can,
be utilized
we
in that
can
way, and
choose
that's
to
how-
exercise to test on a Tuesday if we say, hey, we got to test on Tuesday because we got something going on. In the interest of student safety, to keep them in the classroom.
Correct.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's all I have on that. You have anything else?
That's it, President Jorgensen. Thank you.
Okay. Let's proceed on to 8, board comments. Ms. Jensen.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. Just a couple of things, talking about what Mr. Sparks was talking about. Yeah, it's been difficult. Not in this state. My grandchildren go to another state and they actually they didn't have enough staff to have school this week. So it's happening all over the country. So I just want to thank our staff for hanging in there. It's rough. I know in my district, we started back this week and that extra week was a little bit of help for us. So it is difficult and I know everybody's stepping it up and we still have our jobs to do. That's why we have our jobs. So like Nicole Chun, she's still doing her job and helping out and being a principal at Meadowlark. So I just want to publicly thank Mrs. Chun, and I know Mrs. Shaw has been filling in as principal at a couple sites as well, and still has a very big job. She already has 3 titles, so what's another 4 or 5, right, Kim? So I want to thank that, and of course, Nurse Carrie. Oh my goodness, so bless her. I know she's not here tonight, but please tell her thank you on my behalf. I really appreciate her. But you know, the good thing is, even though we have all this going on with COVID, and who knew we'd be in year 2. It's, you know, we thought we would be coming out of this and here we are. But I look forward to the day where we don't have to have a COVID report. I want to get rid of those slides very badly. So, but what I do want to say is, even though we have a lot going on with COVID and we're not completely back to whatever normal is anymore, but we just, High Desert, what a great thing that we've seen tonight. I mean, congratulations. That is not an easy task to be being a California schools to watch. So I don't want to, I don't take that lightly. I know there's a lot of work and that's, wow, that's a great award for our community and for our school. And then seeing your students up here tonight is another great thing. So even though we have all these things going on, we just keep plugging away because that's what we do as educators. So I just really appreciate all that. And Mr. Mirza, thank you for I do also, and I'll make some comments later in another portion of the board meeting tonight, but I do have the report here and I along with Mr. Paul's I was reading the stuff on the charter and all of that. And so I just want to thank you because that's been a lot. And I know that, you know, with money comes responsibility. It's not like, hey, the state never gives us money. They give the money with lots of strings attached and a very short timeline to write reports and how you're going to spend that money. So I do understand that. So I do appreciate all that you've done as well. So just thank you to our whole staff. Everybody's working together. Everybody's doing jobs that they don't normally do. I know in my district, which is close by, I was in noon duty this week and I taught 4th grade today. So we're all doing the best that we can and we are all in it for students. And so it doesn't matter what your title is. When we know our students need us, we just, you know, do whatever job is necessary. So thank you everyone for holding the fort down and doing the best. And thank you for parents for entrusting us with your students and supporting us and supporting our staff. And so we appreciate you as well. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Ken, just 1 second. Ken just said, I got to on 7F submissions. Do we have any submissions? Mr.
No, sir.
Dr. Zucker?
No submissions for this
No
evening.
submissions. Okay, sorry about that, Mr. Paulsgraf. Mr. Paulsgraf.
No more charters? Wow. Okay, I have lengthy comments. Someone asked that we make comments. I got plenty. So I'm going to skip board member comments and save that time for there. I would ask that President Jorgensen give us a rundown on the LAXTA meeting that we both attended on Monday. That's all I have.
I got those. Mine are probably not going to be as extensive as yours, but I have.
Thank you for sharing that. Brianna,
I was really expecting more.
sorry to disappoint you. You'll get it in bed.
I hope everybody had a wonderful, restful winter break and enjoyed their holidays. I hope everybody is healthy. I feel like it's good to be back, even with all the craziness that we are experiencing with COVID. It's always good to be back at school and in the classroom and seeing kids on campus. I'm thankful that we are able to be on campus. I feel like we have talked a whole lot about COVID, so I'll keep my comments on that short, but a huge thank you to everybody in our district that is keeping our kids in school, from Nurse Carrie and everybody helping her, our office staff, our teachers, our parents that are diligent on not sending your kids to school if they have even the slightest symptom, and everybody on the back end that when they do have symptoms that are helping our kids stay learning, everybody that's involved in short-term independent study and making sure their attendance is good, and the teachers that are making sure that those kids that are at home are still learning. So huge thank you to everybody on our staff that is just putting our kids first, even amid all this COVID stuff. I was able to attend both ASMO concerts before winter break at Meadowlark. Those ASMO parents and volunteers were incredibly impressive. They did something they've never done before with their outdoor concerts. They ran a concert in the rain, and they covered chairs. They were wiping off chairs, making sure they were dry for the parents. They made sure that the kids were safe. They put on a good concert. The kids shined. They did well. Sorry. They were fun and entertaining to watch. I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody that was involved in making sure that those ASMO concerts did happen. Kids on stage singing, no masks because we were outside. They made it happen. The staff at the school that also help out with ASMO and making those happen. You guys all did a great job. So thank you for that, and thank you for the entertainment. Haley, thank you again for being here. Your reports are very thorough, and I appreciate your reports and letting us know what's happening at every single school. So I appreciate you, and I know you're tired and all that. So thank you for being here again. High Desert, congratulations again. Schools to watch is huge. So good job to Mrs. Van Ornum and to every single staff member and parent and student, because it is a team effort there, and that's why you earn that, because High Desert is a family. So good job, congratulations. I believe that's it.
I expect far more.
Me too. I have so much time. I don't know what to do with myself. Good evening and happy New Year to everybody, and glad we're all back. I'm going to keep it brief. I understand our staff, our teachers are all working overtime and we're getting worked hard. It's a tough time right now in every industry, not just the teaching industry. Daily in my industry, we have people not coming to work because of COVID. They're getting sent home because of contact tracing. It's just unfortunately a miserable time, but I want you to know that I hear your concerns. I hear how tired you guys are, and I can sympathize with you in a lot of ways. I just encourage you to keep your head down, grind forward, and remember why we're here, and that's about the kids. That's why we're here, is to teach kids and make the environment that they're in the best that we possibly can. On a happier note, over the holiday break, I was able to go to the Vasquez High School first annual Holiday Classic tournament, which was put on by Mr. Bates, Mario Bates, the boys basketball coach. And that was quite the event. It was very interesting to see schools from Antelope Valley and come as far as Gorman to participate in this tournament. It was a great fundraiser for that group. So I hope and I encourage that we can do more stuff like that, whether it's basketball or any other sport. I think it's great to give exposure to our high school and our smaller schools. I think that it's kind of somewhat of a possible recruiting tool that we can use to maybe bring kids in from other areas. I've heard it said, and I believe it over and over, that our district is kind of like a public-private school. The education that the kids are getting at Vasquez High School is on par with a paraclete, somewhere that people are paying $10,000 and $12,000 a year to go to school for, and they can come to Vasquez and they can be star athletes and they can have great teachers and a great learning environment right here in our own little community. So I hope that we start marketing that. Tournaments like this will help bring in athletes when they see our amazing gymnasium that we have. And so that was quite the positive thing to witness over the holiday break. Congratulations to Ms. Van Ornum. Thank you for being here tonight. Having our middle school as one of the schools to watch, I think it's a great accomplishment. And I'm very excited to see where we go in our future. A little shout out to Ms. Chun. Thank you for being the interim principal at Meadowlark. We appreciate your hard work and pulling double and triple duty as you have been doing. It does not, your work doesn't go unnoticed, and you're much appreciated. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Murphy. All the reports coming back from the students that I'm in contact with, your likable status is going up. It's not going down. So congratulations on that. And we like that. I love hearing what you're doing at the high school. So thank you. Mr. Mirza and Mrs. Kimshaw, Yolanda and Eric, your guys' work doesn't go unnoticed either. Yolanda, the emails when we get weird hours of the day or evening when you should be at home, not working or on a holiday break. Eric, it's all appreciated. And we all know you guys are all doing double duty. So thank you. Let's keep our heads down, keep grinding through it. And hopefully one day this COVID stuff will go away and we can take these masks off and see each other smile again. That's all I have for tonight.
Okay, everybody's covering everything, so I numbered mine so I can get through it rather quickly. First off, at board meetings, oftentimes what Dr. Sahakian and the presentations are, they're routine. They're just, we have to recite these things, some of the COVID stuff that we get and the LACO and all that. We need to read them because people are supposed to be told, and that's that transparency, and sometimes it's kind of boring. It gets hard to listen to sometimes, but we hear it again and again and again, but it's done in the compliance of transparency. We're going to tell you what's going on. This board is going to do everything we can for our students and our site. So it's a little bit routine. We'll get through that. We have a lot of levity. We have some great personalities on the board. And so we'll break it up a little bit. We have a thriving doctor back here so that, we have all kinds of things going on. But get through the routine and we'll get on with the business. The second thing I want to comment is that Mr. Falsgraf and I were on a Zoom meeting with LACSA. And there was board members and superintendents and from LACO and other districts throughout the county. And one thing that caught my eye caught my concern is they asked me to comment and I was just listening because there was a very good presentation by Dr. Ochoa from Cal State University, LA about ethnic studies, letting our students choose to understand our diversity and the way that our strengths of our community. And there was some conversation about it's mandated that we will include this in our curriculum 2 or 3 years down the road. And we're thinking, why do we have to wait till 2 and 3? Why do we have to wait till they push it in our face? And one of the conversations was, and I think it was Mary from Beverly Hills, right? She made a thing that there was a district that was doing this cross certification college credit that we have with AB. And my hand shot up, we're doing that. We're a little tiny college, a little tiny school out there. We're doing the same thing as that big school down in the valley that we can incorporate and ask them. They already do it on their curriculum. Is that a course that we can have them encouraged to let the students choose to get this information and choose to be in that kind of a setting? It would be a great opportunity. And we could be moving ahead instead of waiting until the last second. So that was a great thing that's going on. The ethnic studies about letting our students become aware of and being exposed to the strengths and the diversity of our community and how they're going to go out into the world. Some of the challenges that Chad has mentioned and that go on, that it all could be, we're more alike than we are different. And the better we understand that I can have disagreements and I can debate and I can talk. I think the ethnic studies is one of the ones that really can be done. He did a great presentation on that. Moving on to challenges with we're coming back. Everybody's coming back from the holidays. We're happy everybody's back safe. We know there's some of them got sick, but we're coming out of halftime. We still have 2 quarters to go before we get through this mess, and then we got 2 months before we get ready for fall. So we're in the midst of it, and I know staff are challenged. I know everybody that the sites are challenged, and I want to thank all the patients with the parents because I know the parents are challenged. And the most important of all is the students are challenged. But I think with some of the adaptations and our efforts we're a small school, but we want our stuff. We need our kids are important so that we can do the things that we need to do to safely get our kids, keep them in the classroom where they can socialize with their peers. They keep that connection. They can continue to get their education while we work through the second half of this challenge. It's not a game, it's a pandemic. And so we got 2 quarters to go for us, and then we got two months in the summertime to figure out how we're going to get this. I'm always kind of down when I'm relying on the state and the county constantly changing because the information we get changes. It's changed just since closed session. He's getting emails and texts. Oh, it's changing. So don't forget to say this. And while we try to keep up on that, we humans are in dire need of information. And the people providing us the information are doctors and scientists, and they don't speak to us in lay terms. What does that mean? They're saying this big word. What does that mean? And so they have a bedside manner that is tough. And so we've got to filter that. And that's where Dr. Zahakian, the principals, Ms. Van Ornum, Dr. Murphy, our teachers, we keep our parents apprised, and then they translate that for the students because the kids, they don't know that what the heck's going on. And throw in a few things in there, and we've got to be able to respond to them in a fair and reasonable way. That it's a challenge. Yes, it's not easy. I go back to my grandmother who was born in 1900, and I'm thinking, well, she was like 15, 16, 17, 18 years old during the Spanish flu. And I'm like, what was she going through? And not having near the resources that we have. So it's unfortunate, it's a challenge, but we're moving ahead strongward, we're moving ahead forward, keeping everything going. I want to sound my appreciation to the hard work that staff does. I really want to give a shout out to the students because I know it's challenging. They're getting engaged in sports. They're writing great essays. They're going out expressing themselves. We want to know what you know. And that's one thing that was brought up in LAX is that teachers are learning. We're learning from our students. The students are teaching us. They're asking very pertinent and real questions, and we as adults need to respond to them and engage them and let them be a part of the solution. So I'm hopeful that we can continue to do that. Ms. Chun working over at Meadowlark, we certainly appreciate her stepping up. It's a challenge to come in there to do that on an interim basis. She's been around. She started when I started here at the district, so I've known her for a number of years, and she's all about kids. So I really appreciate Ms. Chung and her efforts over at Meadowlark. Schools to watch. Ms. Van Ornum, thank you very much. You're kind of getting to be a web hog, 12, 15, 18, 20, 22. Good job. Now we're gonna, next Chaz is you got to get a distinguished school site. We want to make that. Are you already there? No, Meadowlark is, right? So you're next online. So that's your charge. But congratulations. Make sure that all your staff and students know that we really appreciate their hard work and dedication during a pandemic. I mean, what more can be said that it could still be accomplished remotely, and all the creativity and the hard work that the parent, what's going on? So there's just everybody pitching in is very much appreciated. The positive certification I got from Laco, Dr. Verda, thank you very much to you and your staff. A couple of the comments that I read in the letter that I got from Laco was they appreciated the forwardness and the willingness to provide the documents as requested. There was no shadow. There was no, well, I can't find that. We provided everything that they wanted. They took everything, they ran it through the algorithms, whatever they do, and you came out on top, A+. And that is to be a huge congratulations to you overseeing that, Dr. Zahakian, making sure that you get him in line. But just make sure that that's what we're doing. And I'm sure that Mr. Paulson's going to follow this, but they made mention about the charter schools. And they complimented you about dealing with that lack and how we were able to go ahead and continue to provide for our students, even though we have significant reductions in income. That wasn't income in the first place, but it was always, oh, this is how we're making money. No, it's not. And so congratulations to staff and thank you again for getting that positive certification from LACO. And last but not least, ASMO, Brianna talked about the concert that I went there and I stayed until my toes started freezing and I was going like, oh my God, I was walking around in the background, but the kids did great. There was a ton of people there. And one of the key things that I really liked about it is I was connecting with students I had that have kids that are singing on the stage. And so that's the uniqueness of this community. We have students that go through our system, they graduate from our high school, they get their careers, they start their families, and they bring their kids and they're putting them back in at Meadowlark, High Desert, working their way through the system. And so that's something that's really special. And that's because of the students and the teachers and the support that we have from this community. Dr. Murphy's the rookie on the team. He's new to town, but he's making a lot of inroads over there. I had a great conversation with you at the soccer game. I appreciate that straightforwardness. I ask questions, he responds. So you're off to a great start, Dr. Murphy. Please keep it up. Thank you. And that's all I have. Mr. Fallsgraf. Did you go to your comments now? Are you done?
No, I've got.
Oh, that's late. Okay.
Oh, moving on. 15 minutes, 47 seconds.
So we're going to 9. Consent agenda. The consent agenda is going to be for approval of the consent agenda will include my page turned here. Minutes of the special board meeting 12/9/2021. Minutes of the regular board meeting 12/9/21. The Williams. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Keep up the good work, everybody. The Williams settlement second quarter report. And the warrant register. Are there any comments by board members or any adjustments to the consent calendar?
I'll move the consent calendar as it is.
Chad will second it.
Ken? Chad? Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Is that good?
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I. 5-0, the consent calendar is approved. 10, personnel pupil services, personnel action report. Dr. Zahakian,
Thank you, Mr.
do we have
Jorgensen.
to move this in first before you talk about it?
Yes.
Yeah, do I have a motion to consider the personnel action report?
I'll move.
Who's that?
Oh,
Brianna,
and Kelly will second.
Kelly, thank you. Dr. Zahakian.
Just want to make a comment that we have an amendment to the PAR. We have now included a teacher resignation at VHS, teacher vacancy at VHS, of course, and a cafeteria worker vacancy. That is a change on the PAR. Thank you.
Any board discussion? None, hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. PAR is approved 5-0. 11, educational services, supplemental instruction presentation. Dr. Let's see, do we have to move this in as well? This was discussion, presentation, no. Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you. To help support direct instruction while students are out in quarantine, Dr. Murphy has been working quite diligently in meeting this challenge. And he has a short presentation on his pilot program at VHS to help mitigate this concern. Dr. Murphy.
Hey, good evening. I usually have to swallow these things. So yeah, pretty much pepper alley, whatever. Yeah. The background of this is, as you are aware, this has been said throughout the last several meetings, the amount of students that were out due to COVID. whether they had it or whether they were exposed and they were out for extended periods of time. And I had approached staff a while back and asked them, we came up with a plan discussing, trying to identify who would be willing to participate in this process. As you're aware, everything's rather fluid here in Southern California, the way things go. We do believe that with the modified quarantine update, that will give us a much greater flexibility with students having access to being on campus. So I anticipate that things are going to be a little bit easier, but for those students who are going to be stuck at home, this thing's driving me crazy. Okay. I feel like I'm a puppy in the window with that. Who wants the puppy in the window? Okay. Pardon me? Oh, okay. Yeah, so anyways, I approached the staff and I said, look, I understand that each of you have your own teaching style. Some of you would prefer to have a computer in the back of the room. Others of you, if it were me, I'd rather work with my students. If I was teaching math in Elmo, having them, I could see them right there. I can ask them one-on-one what kind of questions that they have. Working with the students. When speaking with students, their idea was basically, we don't need 5 days a week of support. A couple hours here and there would be wonderful. And when I asked them what would be most beneficial, they said our core subjects in Spanish. It's like, okay, that's doable. Yesterday I met with the staff. They were very agreeable. They said we would be happy to do this. Many of them are already doing it. There are some that were not. And when we discussed what would be beneficial to the kids, they were agreeable. What made the most sense was the staff, again, if you want to work with them one-on-one, you want to work with them, you can work with them during your prep time, you could work with them before school, after school, weekends. You know what's best, you know how you're going to connect with your students. And it comes down to connecting with your students reach out to you, say, I would like some help. You negotiate with them how to best service their needs. You do that, you log your time, we'll reimburse you up to us with your 6 on the pay rate of the 1/6, we'll reimburse you up to 2 hours per week. They seem rather agreeable with that. I did talk to the kids. Actually, I had a little, quite a bit last week and a little bit this week. The weeks blend together. But the kids seem to like the idea. They don't know about the compensation part, doesn't matter to them. But in the end, they really like the idea that if they were to get stuck, they have an option. But since I've talked to everybody, the modified piece, I think that's going to change quite a bit. So that's what we've got so far. Any questions?
Board member questions?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment, but thank you for just meeting the students' needs, making it about them and what works for them. So I thank you for the plan.
Thank you.
Brianna?
I really appreciate that you received student input and staff input in putting this together. I think this is going to be awesome in moving forward with quarantine. So hopefully students do take advantage of that and reach out to their teacher and take advantage of the different ways they can get help and get their instruction when they're out. So thank you for including everybody in implementing something new.
My pleasure.
I'll just add a little bit to what Brandis was saying. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the students, listening to the parents. It is a source of anxiety for the students that do get sent home that don't have COVID. They just kind of get pulled into that dragnet. So I'm happy to see the modifications happening now with the way the testing's happening, and hopefully less students will be getting sent home. That's a big positive. And I won't add much more other than just thank you for listening to the kids and the parents and trying to figure out a way through this mess. And thank you to the teachers that are also willing to put a little more time and effort into making the experience for the kids a little bit better. That's all I have.
Dr. Murphy, got a couple of questions on when a student requests support math, we'll take math for example, algebra or whatever, and they arrange with it, or does the teacher publicize this for all the students in that class? So if there's another person that wants to jump in on the Zoom, so that there's some way of notifying that everybody in that classroom, I'm going to be talking for 20 minutes about the homework today. So other students, everybody can jump in, right?
Yeah, I mean, some would be doing that, others,
It's gonna be one-on-one for that, two
Yeah.
kids talking to them.
to be quite blunt, that's my middle name probably, but to be quite honest, the concern I had for the staff, as well as the staff shared, was, let's say a student says, I want on there. Rather than just to put the computer in the back, let's say it's a computer in the back. They put the computer in the back, if nobody shows up, that's time wasted that the teacher could be working with the students, and they've got to focus on what's on the screen while trying to work with the students face to face. For me, I would go crazy with that. I'd want to work with them separately. If a student makes a request, I want to be on there, they don't show up. After 5-10 minutes, they're going to shut it down. They're going to move on and work with the crew that they have with them. If the teacher were to, in your scenario, we'd have to explore that. However, it probably isn't an issue, but I think if they don't respond and nobody shows up, it closes up and they move on. It would be the same if you made arrangements with me to meet online through Zoom with a one-on-one tutorial.
Right, okay, because like, the reason I brought it up is I know sometimes in class when I'd have it, everybody's looking, but every student's waiting for somebody else to ask the question that I need help for. So they will raise it in the classroom and they'll ask the question and there's 4 others, oh, God, they asked that. So in this case, if someone says I'm having a problem, there's a flash note or something. Okay, how long are these sessions? Are they going to be like, is it a whole period or is it just the 30 minutes or what? Is there a time frame and they just shut it down when they're done? And they just add it in segments or what?
Let's say, for example, if you ask me, I want help with math, we're going to meet one-on-one online. It may take them until they understand the problem. It may take them 20 minutes. It may take them up to an hour.
So it's gonna be like a regular period of math.
Yeah.
That's the basic. It'll be like a period of math. I'm working math from 11 to 12. So other students could jump in and come in. They'll have an availability to link in on the Zoom or whatever and hear what's going on. But that student that asked the question is gonna be the focus. And then that individual's gonna get their answers taken care of. Everybody else could just be observing and hearing because students hear what's going on in the
Yes.
classroom.
Yeah. So for instance, if you're taking Spanish, you have an assignment, it might be more helpful for that particular student to just have a better understanding with the directions, seeing it unfold in front of them.
Right.
That may be one angle. The other way is teacher says, hey, student says, I would like to meet with you one-on-one. Okay. This is my question. Can you help me? They help them, they move on, maybe 10 minutes. Just a quick clarification.
Right. I think that's important too. I really appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to engage with the students. What do you need? Rather than us saying, hey, here's what you need, asking them. And then, like you say, if they show up, they show up. It's just like a class. They showed up, they're not there. Okay, fine, we go on and move on to the next thing. So, and then you'll track all those up to the 2 hours for the staff. And I think that's appropriate. Thank you very much for the work on that.
My pleasure.
Tim, if I may.
Go ahead.
I think the unspoken here, the elephant in the room besides me, is that there are kids with IEPs. There are kids who don't want to be embarrassed because they don't get it. There are kids that are English learners. I remember, so I'm about preserving the dignity of kids so everybody gets access, because if you fail the one, you fail all of them. It's like when the county said, you can bring back the kids that are failing. And I thought, what if somebody were to stand there and put up a big fanfare and it's like, oh yeah, that kid's got an IEP, that kid's in special ed. I mean, you really got to give the teachers room. If you're going to have a period to say, hey, we're going to be on here talking about the basic class in 15 minutes or whatever, if there's any questions. But I think the teachers need to have enough room to deal with a kid. I don't want anybody's dignity jeopardized in this process. People are already fragile, and sometimes having an audience around to tell people that you don't get it is kind of rough for people. So thanks for making sure your teachers and your staff have the ability to have that freedom.
Yeah, if I can clarify and just add, we agree completely. We concur. I would argue the concept of this is all in small group. And knowing your audience is how you're going to deliver the content. And for some students, it's one-on-one. That I work best with one-on-one. It's like working with a kid on a college application. I can't work with a whole slew in the room. Everybody has a different story. Same with FAFSA. You don't know what baggage you're coming with or what their background is. We have to work with each one of them at their needs, at where they're at. And I would argue that the teachers would probably agree with me that that's a true spirit of what this would be.
Mr. Murphy, it's very refreshing to have you come in here and explain what this is like, because you are the business manager of that school. You're not there to teach, you're there to run that school and make sure that it's run in a way that this board can say, you know what, I'm proud of that school.
Thank you. I'll make sure.
So I hate to take away from your glories tonight. They're numerous, but this is what makes me happy.
I just want to, because like, when you're talking about what Ken brought up, students with special needs and IEPs, they know and the teacher knows, but everybody, all the other students don't know.
Yeah.
And I can recall, and this taps right into that, when students would leave, there would be that one student that would be the last one to leave, and they'd come up and ask for some special clarification because they want that one-on-one. And so that's why I think that you have paid attention to that and addressing it. If that's the student that needs the one-on-one, that's the one-on-one, and that's how we can respond. That's great. Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
We're at number 12, business services, Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District School Mint Proposal 111. This
Move this in.
Ken moves,
I'll second Kelly. Benson.
Kelly. Dr. Zahaki.
But bringing a school mint proposal back to our school board, just to reiterate, the overarching purpose of school mint is to really help districts attract, retain, and maintain students at the district. This platform really is multi-layered. The specific area that we're looking at in terms of the contract is for the customer service and the customer care piece. I want to reiterate that, where an outside person who knows what to look for, what to ask, could be cold calling the superintendent, could be cold calling the assistant superintendent, the executive assistant to the superintendent, anyone on the school campus to ask questions as a prospective new parent. It's not a gotcha moment by any means, but it's to develop a plan moving forward on what are the strengths in terms of the output from the report that we get back from School Mint if this is approved. In addition, to plan PD for classified certificated staff in terms of how can we cater best to our current parents and prospective parents. Thank you.
Board member discussion, Ms. Jensen.
Yeah, I have a couple of comments. This isn't just a check out and see what the employees are doing. This is a, and we have some great employees who are doing great things too. So that's a highlight. But it's also, if we can recall, this is helping with our strategic plan. I think that we need to look at this like multi-layer. It's looking at our strategic plan. We have to stop thinking that education means you live in this district, you go to this school. Education has become very competitive. People have lots of choices now where to go to school and where to educate their children. So this is just giving us information about how we're doing. We're doing some great things, and there's things we need to improve on to work on our branding. So we did talk about branding. That's in one of our strategic plans. We talked about the need to market our schools and do some great branding, and this will just help us. I believe this will just help us with that. I also want to tie it to the LA County report that we have. And it also tells us in here, as we have declining enrollment, you're going to lose funding if you have declined enrollment. And it says here to continue to assess and adjust. So I look at this as a way for us to do an assessment and then make adjustments. Do the things that we're doing great and the things that we need to improve on, because we do need to look for students. I know in a district this size, $13,000 is a lot of money. But like it says in the report, if we can retain one student or get two, we're going to be ahead. So I don't think we should be afraid of what we're going to uncover. I think that people are taking this as a way to sort of gotcha type of things, or it's not an evaluation, like you've just said. it's a way for us to evaluate our system, Facebook, Instagram, how are we marketing, what are we doing to our schools. So I think I'm for this. I think it's good for us to see where we are. We keep getting people in the community coming up here and stepping up and asking us about declining enrollment. They're constantly telling us here, oh, but no one has an answer how to get students or retain students. And this is a way for us to start looking at it, finding some answers to see where we are. So I'm going to vote yes for this tonight.
Okay, guys, GoPro's on scatter. You know what this means? You know what this means? This means that, number one, I'm not sure that I can go to the district website and click on the Zoom link and know that I'm going to be able to see the meeting without the circle of death saying I can't see the meeting. Big hint there, guys. But the reason my GoPro is on is because I want to make sure that what I say tonight is uploaded in a way that is not compromised by internet access interruptions, tripod malfunctions, strategically placed coughs, grunts, sighs, chuckles, snack munching, and other flatuitic distractions. I want to talk just a tad about what Kelly said. In my world, you can take spatial data, which means this house is here, this phone is here, this is over here, and then you can track that, okay? So I asked a question about an IP address, about the system's ability to look for an IP address. That's the footprint or the breadcrumb that says this inquiry come from that computer. I don't want to know who it was. I want to know where they are. So for example, Anna Verde has opened back up. They're building houses. How far is Anna Verde from here on Avenue S? It's 10 minutes. Are you through? Anyway, we both will be in December. So anyway, let's say that the IP address is spatially tracked and said that hit came from there. Let's say that they go to the Vasquez website. Let's say on the Vasquez website, the first thing they see is my address to the class of 2020. How touching and stirring. But is it relevant now? No, not really. Not at all. I want to know, do they get to the 6th page before they burn out and go somewhere else? Where are they stopping? Where do they hit? My YouTube channel, I can tell what people start watching as soon as they see my face. It's over. But at the end of the day, you can track where these people are going, what they're interested in seeing, and where you lose them. Store that away with Kelly stuff. Now I'm going to get into some history and some very seedy stuff. I'm going to make up words as I go. The message in my comments, I'm not trying to steer votes. I know what it's like to have people up here bullying you. If you remember the old board, I don't care how you vote. The message in my comments on this item would be about what we can do as a board to support the administration of this district. I'm not talking about the students. We're not talking about the staff. Everything good? We're talking about the administrators who support all these other people. Separate that. This is the administration over here. We're supposed to support them. That's why we're elected. We don't run them. They run the school district. I got 20% of running him. Understand that. This agenda item in my mind is a critical piece to the end of this district doing the work to be successful in capturing and maintaining the district share of the educational marketplace. That's what you all are here for. Understand that. We are here to make sure that the person that runs you all is competent in doing that. This is not a popularity contest. This is a measurable job performance. I'm seeing that in here tonight. I'm very happy. You know how rare it is to see me happy? I only have 17 more pages to go. During my comments tonight, when you see me go like this, I'm not crazy. When this goes on the internet tomorrow, the things that I say people have said and done will be, there will be links. You can click on it. You can watch the circus for yourself. I'm going to go back about 10 years and tell you what went wrong with this district. In 6 days will be the anniversary of my first appearance at a board. It's the same. 10 years ago, 6 days from now, I began my involvement with this board. 5 years in the audience where you all are sitting and 5 up here. So let's say I'm a veteran. I've been in the trenches. I know what is happening. In the Acton Agua Dulce News, I love the Acton Agua Dulce News because good or bad, they memorialize everything. If there was ever a court case, they would want this for discovery, trust me. So thank you for capturing everything you do. Okay, I work in the public sector. I've been in the public sector for 21 years. I run a division of a city that is world renowned. I didn't get there and stay there because of my charming personality and my boyish good looks. I am there because I know how to deliver a program that's in line with the expectations of a high class system. I expect that up here. When I hear the things I'm hearing tonight and telling you, you are a business manager. I like what you're selling, both of you. That's what I want to hear. I'm not here to be popular. It makes Christmas far too expensive. But the first thing I learned in public sector business was this: you do not tax people and not give them representation. Who's the history major? Why did this country break away from England? Because they sent a bunch of people over here who were goofy enough to come over here and then pay 60% taxes. No taxation without representation. So simply put, if you are a public servant, the quickest way to get in trouble is for you to start messing with taxpayer money and moving it around where it's not to be spent without authorization. We're going to talk about 2013 and a FICMAT report. The FICMAT report came out because we were going into negative certification, meaning you can't pay your current bills and you will not pay your bills for the next 2 years. So what LACO said back then is live within your means. That's the bottom line, live within your means. So a little bit after I started going to school board meetings, the leadership at that time was summed up as best like this. We had a principal at the high school that was auto-promoted to superintendent with no public process. Who runs a hiring process using public funds to pay people and auto-promotes people with a jump like that? In my world, that calls for a structural deficit that somebody doesn't want to talk about something. Anyway, that brand new principal turned superintendent took the district down the trail of using charter authorization as a revenue source. I knew back then, a 4-year-old knows back then. Anybody that's a taxpayer in this district that tries to think about the school district collapsing here, what's their biggest concern? If we get pulled into Palmdale, we're going to have to pay those bond rates on our properties. Tell me I'm wrong. When I ran for this board, I made sure that it was by election, not appointment. My campaign platform was very clear. It was based on the things I had been saying all along, all the way. And that in order for this district to be sustainable, you needed to reduce fiscal dependence on out-of-boundary charters. You restore the focus on local students, and you restore the good name of the district and the greater educational marketplace. Why do the colleges now want to come here and offer us? Because we don't have a trashed reputation as being rogue thieves of taxpayer money. Nobody wants to associate themselves with you when it affects the contracts that they have and the agreements they have with LA Unified, Long Beach Unified, Beverly Hills Unified. They don't want to associate with you. That's why we couldn't get to classes. Anyway, my campaign platform was very clear. It was printed in the election ballot for 2016, which is still a matter of public record. Remember me talking about October 17th, 2016, a few meetings ago? Well, on that day, I carried my platform into the Acton Town Council candidate forum. Here's the first one. I'm going to give you a link to the meeting. I want you to watch it. I want you to look at the faces, see if any of them seem familiar to you, see how they act, see what they said. I was greeted with the Acton Town Council president at the time. So I'm not talking about the Acton Town Council. People keep coming in here. I don't like the way you talk about the Acton Town Council. I'm not talking about the Acton Town Council. I'm talking about if you were the president of the Acton Town Council on October 17th, 2016. I'm talking about you, and you know it. So I was immediately hit with, by that president, challenging my opposition to the charter plan. What's your plan, Falls Graph? Live within your means. So I was teed up to have the president of this board, think about this, the acting president. This would be like Tim Jorgensen walking into the candidate forum that's coming in October of this year and injecting his bias into a candidate forum. In what world does that happen? Anyway, I was teed up at the time. The president inserted his bias, basically called me misinformed and attempting to mislead the very public that I was seeking the vote to. Look, click the link, watch it happen. That night, the public of this town, October 17, 2016, the public of this town was misled by its own leaders who were either being false in the information or they were too naive to understand basic principles of why this country broke away from England. Take your pick, it doesn't matter. The public was sucked into believing that the charter plan and associated finance were stable, legal, and sustainable. I want to say this. This board has been constantly bashed. This platform is being set up. So just in case there are any confusions about the public comments from the podium that I don't like the Acton Town Council or that I am consistently violating my own civility statement that was one of my, the year I was president, this is one of my initiatives. Do you think that I should just love these people and give them respect when they come up in my own community and call me a liar? And then stand up here at the microphone every couple of weeks now and say, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't care what you like. Watch the movie. Fast forward, I won the election. Within 45 days of the 17th of October 2016 meeting, the superintendent, who was the architect of the plan, resigned 5 minutes before I was sworn in. 3 board members subsequently voted to put that person on as a fiscal budgetary consultant, inform our budget, while him and a former employee simultaneously, while serving as a consultant to this district, informing its budget, moved first over $350,000 of the educational SPED funding, and then turned around and pulled more than $600,000 of enrollment. So we're talking about $1 million going out the door right away, while you're serving as a consultant. 3 board members voted for that to happen. So what did I do? I immediately took the practice of putting these charters through the ringer and saying, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? Watch the old board meetings. I'm getting tore up by everybody up here. Why are you asking that question? You're all paranoid. Why are you? There's nothing nefarious going on here. I recall the Valiant material revision hearing. I asked questions while being assaulted by my board. Acton Agua Dulce News, you're great. You captured all this for me. Thank you. Without you, I wouldn't be able to give you the story. But I asked the very questions of that charter of the people standing right there while I was being assaulted by my own board, that the grand jury, our superintendent, Larry King, Lynn David, all these people were coming in to try to fix this mess, were being questioned by the grand jury. Isn't that great? But the grand jury, the district attorney, and the judge were asking the same questions when they indicted these people for the theft of $50 million. And let me make something very clear to you. Without that board, the ones that voted against my obvious protests, Valiant would never have been able to abscond with $50 million of taxpayer money. They opened the door to it while criticizing me. It's all in the movies, watch it. I want you to think about that $50 million. What did Vasquez cost to build? What was the district share? 12 million. We could have built another 4 Vasquez campuses with what these people stole. $50 million. But guess what? None of it was our money. It wasn't ours to take. So while I'm being constantly bashed in the newspaper, the AV press, the Santa Clarita Valley press, and even the LA Times is touting me as an advocate for taxpayer responsibility and funding. This is the LA Times, that's me. That's our buses. You can tell it's me. I got a fat belly. Look, mommy, it's me. I got the best fat belly in town right here. But I can't get any respect out of my own press in this town. I'm holding it up so everybody can see it. Get that on film. Moving on. Within 6 months of the October 17th, 2016 Acton Town Council meeting, the AEA charter began to unwind. 14 months later, the charter was defunct. When the board president took after me in the Acton Town Council meeting, he said that they had MOUs, this district had MOUs that would protect the district from any financial liability related to the charters. I specifically said special ed. The debts of that charter were dumped on this district, despite the board president's guarantees that they could not be. Anybody at that table right there, in fact, I might be quoting one of them right now, said to me, for your MOU to be of any value, you have to have the money behind it, or it's worthless. So there were settlements. Those kinds of settlements are discussed back there in closed session. Think about this. You're sitting in closed session. You are fixing what these other people ran from. They go to Keppel, they go to Apple Valley. Get on the internet, you can find them now. Nice list of former employees. But you are sitting back there while you're trying to fix it, having mud slung all over you from somebody else, and you have an attorney telling you, this is the best you can do. So your decision-making process is based on, do I want them to take $500,000 from our kids? Or should we let this go to court? And when the jury hears it, they give an award of $3 million. So we're back there making those decisions. Anybody that's ever sat in closed session knows that you can't come out here. And for you to sit in closed session, that would have meant that you have sat on a board at one time in your life and you should know better. It's going to get juicy now. The reward that this board has had, and I'm talking about that one down there, I'm talking about the one over here who have not been noisy, who have kept silent while I've been running my mouth. We're getting bashed in the local newspaper. Oh, there's nothing to report out of closed session, nothing to report out of closed session. You know you can't report this stuff out of closed session. But it's almost as if the public is being groomed to believe that because we can't report this stuff when you know we can't, that we are hiding information from the public. Thank you very much. Well, guess what? I got a surprise for you all. In the case of the AEA failure and the financial impact on the district I'm talking about, there are 5 people besides this board who know exactly what happened. Do you know why? Because they were on the board of AEA when it was unfolding. And those people were informed in closed session. We got this parent suing us for this. We got this parent suing us for that. We're doing this and this. All that's being dumped on them. Well, the person that was brought in to glide path AEA into the ground and dump the debts on this district was smart enough to send emails out to parents talking about schools closing. Zoom in. Schools closing. Different alternatives when boards didn't approve your charter, encouraging you not to talk about it on Facebook. That person was smart enough to make sure that they documented that the board of AEA knew exactly what was going on. I have emails that show the names of these people. Why? Because I was a parent of one of the students. Now, if you're a great investigative reporter, you would want to know who these people are, because they can tell you now, what do they got to lose? Their organization is defunct, their board has collapsed. And if they said, yeah, he's right, this is what was coming in front of us, unfortunately, we didn't mean to do it or whatever. What are the other board members going to do? The other 4 board members are like, dude, why are you talking about this now? I'm trying to get this behind me. So what would happen if one of those said, here's what happened? Oh, the other board members are going to run to the DA and go, hey, Brown Act violation. No, they're not going to do that. And if the DA looked at it and said, the remedy is always already in place. Your district is bankrupt. Your board is, I don't even want to hear this. But there are names on here that you might find very interesting indeed. Now, again, if I were an investigative reporter, I would say, hey, Fallsgraph, I want to see that thing that you put up there. See, it's got a triangle on it. It's a red triangle, so ask me for it. Maybe the Acton Agua Dulce News will ask me for it, print it. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. So what's going to be said here is, well, Fallsgraph, what's your idea? Live within your means. Well, we can't do that. And besides that, while we were doing this, we got $4 million a year. That's great. Well, one charter come back and said, we want our money back. The DA said we want our money. Why didn't the rest of them want their money back? Well, because there's probes into that. You start asking for your money back, then the feds come in, they start looking around. Maybe some people didn't want to go through that. I guarantee you, if I was sitting on the board of one of those charters and I found this out, I'd be chasing this district for money. Statute of limitations is passed. How terrible that our superintendent has to sit here and listen to this. But the charter was a moneymaker, right? Hey, I got an idea. Why don't I compare this to the grow houses that are popping up in our community? Hey, they're moneymakers, right? Let's say I set up a grow house. I come in, I spend $7,000 or $50,000 for one, right? And then I spend $250,000 to equip the house with all my, you know, if you see like 74 air compressors, it might sound wrong, right? Anyway, I set up my grow house. I peddle, say, $4 million a year, same as the charter revenue, dope out of that house. And I get busted because it's illegal. It's not permitted. Should any of them be permitted? I know that all the dope that shows up in our bathrooms, that's all from permitted grow houses, right? But anyway, I'll lose, I spend $250,000 setting up the grow house. The feds come in, everybody comes in. They don't even arrest these people. They give them a ticket. Like, I jaywalked with my bicycle. Here you go. Don't do this anymore. So then they bust up the house. Oh, here, let me smash your stuff. So I got $250 gone, plus $250. That's $500,000. But I still made $350,000 or $3.5 million, right? Yay, I'm the winner. Well, guess what? Why am I comparing these two? Because they're directly comparable. Both are illegal. Both create false economies. They collapse community faith. And they undermine the idea that there is a shortcut to good hard work. Then what's really amazing is at the end of it all, the architects of the plan, whether it's a grow house or a charter school scheme, district, what does that say? School district caught in fraud scheme. Acton Agua Dulce agrees to pay back $720,000 on one charter. That's what it says. I didn't print that myself. Anyway, the same people that would criticize me and attack me in front of my own community and call me a liar, come along later and say, well, I'm going to criticize you because you didn't use the illegal gains to build my pet project, or in the case of grow house, well, you didn't get out of there before you could build another grow house. But what we have happening in here is, why didn't you work out a payment plan with the DA, right? Sorry, this is not budget auto sales. They didn't want to hear that. Or maybe you could drag a bunch of kids in and plead with the judge, use kids as human guilt. This is not a charter renewal. The judge didn't care about that. You're a criminal. Or here's the best one. Prop somebody up to come right up there and say, why did this board rob the community of the tennis court, the swimming pool, and the basketball court by not choosing to use the illegal funds as a funding source? I know that Mr. Mirza, Dr. Mirza, is just waiting to put an application in to LACO or the state of California or GSA to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're going to build this, and the funding source is charter revenue or a grow house or some other thing. I got, oh, the grow house we're going to use is permitted right now. Wait a minute, didn't I ask for all that to be on the agenda? I don't guess you have to put it on there now because I just explained it all. I'm going to turn to the LACO budget review letter to President Jorgensen, which is why I read that in the record. It says very clear there's huge liability in the charters, because back in the old days, you lose one kid at 3.5%. You have 28 kids that are out there that you don't even know exposure on 28 kids instead of focusing on one. I want to read you something pretty funny. Love the Acton Agua Dulce news. I got two of these, by the way. April 4th, 2012, the superintendent talked about a charter school that they would ultimately, that the district would receive about 3.5% of the charter's gross income, potentially 100,000 to 250,000. Right? He hoped it would save the district his salary. I love that motivation. Hey, give me the money, right? I'm sorry if I'm upsetting you. So the message from LACO is this. This is the same one 8 years ago. You got to live within your means. And had somebody done that 5 years before the FICMAT report of 2013, you would not be in the situation. I would not be up here. That in itself should be reward enough for somebody to live within their means. We've done the corrective work to get to a point where we can hire somebody who's actually silly enough to come in here and say, hey, me and my team, we're going to go out there and take our market back. We're going to focus on your local students, their educational success, and maintain your identity and brand value in the educational community regionally. So what I have said tonight, it will be all over the internet tomorrow. So go ahead and spin it any way you want. Make a top out of it. Watch the movies. I want to talk a little bit about customer service with this. Hey, newsflash, I hung the bolt last time on purpose, because with these two gone, we've done the work. I don't care about Mint. I don't even know who Mint is. I understand the process that they use. But I also have a respect for the superintendent to do the work to come forward and not be second guessing them while I'm building a platform at the expense of the people who done the work that you created for us to do. I'm not interested in that. But it was with great concern that I read Julie's comments in the AV press about this. Now, Julie writes what's said, and she doesn't have a bunch of dots and question marks and whatever in her article. She actually, so I think they have a budget over there where they can keep keyboards that don't malfunction. But it was basically saying that our district has employees that are untrained, front-face employees that are untrained. I take great exception to that. Look at me, I'm in the Los Angeles Times for what I am, but yet I'm representing an organization where people don't know what to do. Ridiculous. I inquired when this first come up. I don't just sit up here and listen to myself talk. I asked this district leadership, or the employee unions, associations consulted about this. Did they present any objection? Now, I don't see the union rep being shy. I mean, he'll stand up there and tell me that my hair is a mess. So they're not shy at all. And I didn't hear anything from them. In fact, I think that they're not worried that somebody's going to come in here and paint them out to be anything other than the fine employees that they are. So I want to address a couple concerns here. This is coming from me. If you're a parent and you want the truth, you come to the right place to get it. If you believe that this district continues on with a hiring practice in which positions are filled or even influenced by the affluence of influence, affluence, look that word up, then you are wrong. If you believe that people are auto-promoted without an objective review of a qualified pool of candidates in which the best one that applied is selected, you are again wrong. And if you are an employee and you are unable to be the face of the district, to be friendly to your customers and conduct yourself in a positive manner, to understand your job description, understand that if you are being paid to be at work, then you be at work. If you feel that you're not qualified to do your job, if you feel that you are not placed properly, if you feel that you don't understand your job description, that you need training or counseling, you need to contact HR immediately. They will be responsive to you. If they are not responsive to you, then we are here to make sure that they are responsive to you. Back to the Ken show. That wasn't enough. I have worked for the MGM Mirage Resorts Corporation, the Disney Corporation, for a city with a name and a brand that is recognized immediately worldwide. I have run a division of that city. The buck stops here on that division going into my 21st year. And again, I don't have a glowing personality or boyish charm. I'm good at what I do. The people that I run are good at what they do. And as a team, we produce the kind of results that everybody who does what I do wants my job and my team's job. I don't know what it's like to work for a second-rate agency. If you know, please call me. I want to know how you feel, because I'm completely ignorant of that. My expectations for this district are no less than what I put on myself at work. I'm going to say this because I have the right to say this. Oh, by the way, I'm talking about Chad too. Chad works for these corporations. It's not about being nice. It's about you get them trucks there, you film the show, you don't have a bunch of crap going on, or you're fired. Tell me I'm wrong, Chad. Sorry to drag you into this. But I have the right to say this because I've worked hard to have the right to say to this. Of all the top end organizations I have worked for, of the hundreds and thousands of people that I have encountered that work for these corporations, I will stack Shiloh, our own Shiloh, up against any and all comers in the area of customer service. And I would very much expect that if I get nothing but my face slapped in the newspaper every week, then this district should be able to, on my behalf, recognize Shiloh for her customer service contributions. And then I would say, you continue to look, because there's many more like her in this district that just are nice to people, with Shiloh, you don't have to be anybody to be everybody in this district. When you fail one kid, you fail everybody. Oh, last page, check it out. I just spread COVID to this paper. Board members and public, thank you for your patience with my comments tonight, because I've been waiting 10 years to make them. I want to move on now because there's a lot of baggage that's got addressed. Spin it any way you want. The movies are up there, the movies here. I don't want to revisit this stuff anymore. If you're going to run for board, run, get elected, sit up here. Could you do that just once, maybe? I don't know. We all did it. But I will tell you this, I'm very proud of this superintendent. I'm pointing at you. He has a vision, determination I have not seen in the decade that I have put into this, a room like this. 5 out there, 5 up here. I used to look at Tim when he was a union president, and he would look at me, and we would both look at each other like, we must be really in rough shape to be hanging out here like this. But the way your team operates, your drive and vision, the quick ways that things are happening that are measurable, that these two won't talk about, and these two are going to have to take over. It's very exciting for me. It gives me a great deal of comfort. Our administrators work well as a team. You're not all undermining each other, at least not out in the open. Seeing your teamwork gives me a great deal of hope for the future of this district. My campaign promises have all been reached. There's no reason for me to be up here. I might just resign and just go out and play bash people in the newspaper like I've been trained so well to do. I've been through the trenches up here. And I want to assure any parent or staff that questions who I am and what I'm all about. Here's what I've always been here to do. To assure that we work to earn the respect and business of all of our customers, and that's the students, to advance the educational endeavors of our students, all of the students, not just 1 or 2, you know, the group that will vote for you later, all of the students. If you fail one, you fail all. And maintain a regional respect for the work we do as a valid educational choice for the students of the region. We may not be the fit for everybody, but we are a fit for quite a few. And at one time there was 2,200 that wanted to be here. Here's what I'm not here to do. I am not here to second guess the superintendent and cherry pick those things that appeal to me or benefit me personally or any of the flying monkeys I got in my crowd. And in the process, handcuff the superintendent by saying, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. You can't do this or this. Until he burns out, leaves, and opens the door to the next one to be groomed into the next failure of our students district-wide. There's a compliment in there somewhere for y'all. That said, I have a question. I'm done. It's a very pointed question. Superintendent, again, I don't care about Mint. I don't care who the contract is with. I went through a couple months ago and wanted to know, hold harmless, insurance, all that, competitive bid. I don't want somebody coming back and saying, oh, well, you didn't bid this out to anybody. You did a sole source deal with taxpayer money. But that said, superintendent, is it your recommendation to this board that this action item is necessary in your goal to move this district to a position of independent fiscal stability while meeting the educational needs of the students who freely choose this district to deliver their education? That's a yes or no answer.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, now for my 15 minutes of fame. Just kidding, this will not.
Turn the timer on, Tim.
3 minutes. Okay. I am not against bringing in School Mint or bringing in a program like School Mint. I am not opposed to it. I am opposed to it right now. And here's why. If I'm a baseball coach and I'm going to go have a scrimmage, take my team, have a scrimmage, fun game, I pay nothing to enter. It doesn't matter. As long as my kids are physically fit to play, we can go play with no practice. We'll see how we're doing. We'll see where we need to improve. We'll move on from there. If I'm paying to enter a tournament, I'm paying to take the best team possible. That means that I'm going to take my players that I know are great. I'm going to practice with them. We're going to run the drills. We're going to give them all of the tools that they need. And then we're going to go enter the tournament that I'm paying for. So bringing that back to School Mint, we do have an incredible team. They're in place. We got them. So many players on my team are brand new to the positions that we have them in. That's not saying that they're not great. They're great. They're great at what they do. Can we give them a little more practice? Can we give them a little more drills? Can we develop them into superstar athletes and then pay for the $13,000 tournament? That's what I'm saying, is that we need to give them time. Most of them, we have 7 front office staff. All but one have been here for less than a year. They've been in their position for less than a year. We have 2 principals. Both of them are brand new. They do not have the practice. They do not have the drills. They don't have the tools that they need to go enter the tournament. So let's give them practice. Looking at the bullet points on what this is going to look at and tell us and give us feedback on, I can give you feedback. The quality of our social media accounts, not there. We don't have it. We fail at that part already without paying $13,000. I tell you, we fail at that part. The ease of signing up electronically for an in-person tour at the school. I have no idea how to do that. And I worked in the front office for a couple of years. I have no idea how we would sign up for a tour. I'm thinking that we fail at that part. We have an IT department that is fantastic at what they do. Can they look and put fresh eyes and pretend that they're new and go into our website and see if it's easy to use? I think they can. I think that we do have paid employees that can answer some of these questions, give us the best practice possible, go through, do some drills, make sure that we have our team ready to go, ready to play, and then pay the $13,000 to enter that tournament. Now is not the time to pay $13,000 for this tournament. We need practice first.
All right, where do I start? Thanks for bringing me into your rant, by the way. That'll be front page news tomorrow, how you and I are connected in some weird way. Yeah. And we're not, by the way, okay? We're not. As far as Mint goes, correct me if I'm wrong, this is just it's just looking at the customer service piece of our district, right? Meaning our front office, how our front office deals with people coming into the office, how they call the district office, how they're taken care of over the phone, that kind of sort of thing, right?
Correct. Just that one element of the customer care that's
Right.
being provided by district office and school sites, not just specific to office staff.
So my opinion of this is that while yes, we can look at the bullet points and we can probably identify 4 or 5 of those that need a lot of work. Will this organization help you come up with new ideas that will work better in our scenarios?
To answer that question, there's a synopsis of the customer service, customer care assessment that they'll make. They'll go ahead and share it with me and my wonderful team to my right, to go ahead and really hone in on the marketing and branding component of customer service and customer care, not only for our existing parents that they're our clients, but prospective families that we're trying to attract to the district.
So we're trying to attract new people, fresh people from outside of town. Those of us that have been in this town for a long time we can go around, we can point fingers at who's not doing what right. And, we may or may disagree. She may think this person's great. I may think that person's horrible, vice versa. What Mint's going to do, Mint's going to have an unbiased opinion of the people they contact within our district and our schools. It's not about gotcha moment. It's about getting an unbiased opinion of what that person does or does not do well or does good. It's an evaluation. So to me, if we're going to try to grow our district and we're going to try to come up with new ideas and we're going to try to get out of the small rinky-dink western town and get our ADA back up to 2,000 students, we need new ideas. We need bold ideas and we need fresh ideas. So for me, I'm willing to spend the $13,000 to get analysis from an outside person, an outside contact that has no opinion or personal vendetta against any person. And that, unfortunately, in this town is to a detriment, because so often we want to cut each other's throats, and you could be a great person, I could be a great person, but we never get past that little thing. So I'm for this. I'll stop talking, but I'm all for Mint. Let's spend the money. Let's get some outside opinions. And if you suggest and you feel that it will help you get your brand and get your district to another level, then we hired you for that job. I hung my hat on your last name. And in fact, when it came down to who was going to get picked, I dug my heels in the ground and he said, we're not leaving this room until we all agree. And so I'm going to trust your opinion. If you say we need it and it'll help us, then let's do it.
Board President, matter of business. I move that we extend the meeting to 11 o'clock.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Kelly seconds. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Graph, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Tim, please, before you move on, I have a comment to make about something Chad said, and I don't typically do this, but to what Chad said, if I come back and they present a report that consists of that guy, that person isn't doing this, I will be looking for someone's head. Because if that person does not have the technology, if they don't have the tools, if they don't have the things that Brianna's talking about, then pointing out and personalizing the system as them being the failure is the most ignorant thing I've ever heard of. But say, for example, the things I'm talking about, the internet hits, the this or this. You guys are trying to staff kids that half of them are at home. I get that. If somebody says, here's kind of where the process is faltering, and most consulting teams have different people that have specialties and different things. And if that person says there's an easy fix that you might implement through your IT department, and they use their expertise to provide that pathway, that's what this is about.
If I could comment on that, Mr. Fallsgraf.
I'm just saying what Chad said is very important, and it mixes with what Brianna is saying. Don't personalize this about an individual, please.
If I could just make a very quick comment, I need to concur with that statement. It's an objective assessment. It's not a gotcha type of assessment whatsoever. There are no names that are being called out. It's just an objective assessment of what's in place, what's going well, what's not, and where the improvements could actually come from.
And I would hope that those come with recommendations about what those improvements might look like. Okay, I'm done.
Correct.
I have one more thing to add, Mr. President. It was suggested by our speaker tonight that we use somebody internally, that this Mint proposal could be done somewhat internally. I don't know if that speaker has been paying attention or not, but every meeting for the last 2 or 3 or 4 of them, we've had ADA and teachers and principals up here saying how everybody's overworked and doing 2 and 3 and 4 jobs. We have superintendents playing principal. We have sped teachers playing principal. We have our staff's overworked. Period. End of story. There's no more to give. So let's spend a little to get a lot, is what I'm saying. That's all I have.
I do have one comment, one question. I'm so sorry. My comment, I don't know if the personal like nothing I said is personal to anybody. So I just wanted to make that clear. I'm not up here speaking on behalf of other people because I'm friends with anybody or not friends with anybody. None of my comments were personal in any way. I just want that to be clear. But my question is, I might be mistaken, but Ken said something about it's going to track clicks and see where that person is. Is this tracking people who click on our?
No,
That was my,
no.
Okay,
no, those are my words. What I'm saying is, if people clicking on your site, wouldn't it be nice to know that it's not somebody looking for a volleyball game because they're a parent here? It's like, wait a minute, those hits are coming from 10 miles from the district. I would want to know that information immediately. It's not our right to find out who they are and send missionaries to knock on the door or something like that. No, it's, I want to know where our marketing should go. And I think that somebody could ask these people in this process, can you do that? And as a board member, I'm saying you should report that back to me. No, they couldn't do that. But here's spatially, because my expectation is we're not just going to pay those people to say, your website didn't have the basketball game on it. No. Or your website's outdated with Falls Draft running its mouth. No. It's, here's what it is. Here's how you get to where you go. And I think that's one thing, but that was put on the table by me. That's my expectation. I mean,
I'm sorry, I have to chime in one more time as well. So you need to think of it this way too. If we had 2 more students, what we saw tonight, you don't think in the Antelope Valley somewhere 2 more students or from Santa Cruz or in the Antelope Valley could just come to this board meeting tonight and see what High Desert did and see what our high school is going to do to help students. You don't think in this valley we could get 2 kids here? I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face. We have a great system here. We should have people begging to come. We should have our office having people enrolling students here every single day because this is a great district. We have great administrators. We have great things going on. So this isn't about like, oh, is somebody going to come in? And we, we're in the game. We're in the game. It's time to play ball. So we need to get going and figure out where we're strong, what's going. We need to assess. We should not be afraid to assess what we're doing because we're doing some darn good things here. What we need to do is stop wasting time trying to get people. We could spend the next 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months talking about branding. No, we should be branding tomorrow. We need to get people in here, find out where our strengths are, and get this thing going. You assess what you're doing so that you can make yourself better, and you should always have a goal. And I'm going to say, and I said it when I was a board member, my thing was we should be branding. We should be telling the world we have a great district, and we should have people that have cars getting in their cars, turning them on every morning and driving their kids to our district. That's what I'm looking for. So what's the item for this?
yeah, but Kelly, to be fair, you have to understand that some people were willing to accept the risk of sponsoring 28 students in a charter school with all that risk. So they might be hesitant to try to get 2 students back to their own. Please, really? I can't believe it. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
have a great district and we need to promote ourselves and we need to get the branding out.
You have run me out of air, which is a feat.
Okay, I'm going to wrap this up with my comments and then we'll get ready to. So to me, hearing all the comments today, this is an investment to efficiency. It's an investment in our students. It is not an evaluation. It's an observation of what they see. Here's what I experienced so that we can take that as constructive criticism, observation, and say, oh, I know my job description. I've gone through my job and I think I'm doing a really good job. But then someone will come in and say to Tim, no personal, no name, they would have an experience in the event and say, and I go, you know what, geez, yeah, I could have done that a little bit better. It's an observation in us to get better at what we do. Like Kelly says, and Ken and Brianna and Chad, we're a damn good school district. And I've coached some successful winning teams. Just because I won doesn't mean I want to know how I can do it better. I go out and say, what did you see? What did you see? What did you see? And they point things out to me that I didn't see because I thought I was doing it okay. And I made an adjustment. I made an adjustment. I pulled in somebody here and I asked this person and I built this network where I could do it. It's a great opportunity for what I think is an affordable price that this small gem outstanding district can look at itself and say, you know what? Let's confirm what we're doing. And if there's something that we can do a little bit better, we're willing to invest in our students to get it done. It's not personal. There's no name identification. It's not tracking them by position. It's saying, here's an observation that I had. It's completely innocuous. It's just, here's an observation. I came in and I asked about this, and guess what? Your employee was very nice, but they didn't know how, they didn't know what to say. Okay, so now we know we can address this about branding. They didn't know something because we hadn't trained them. It's a deficiency that we think we're looking at it and we're doing really good, but there's a lot of little shadows that an independent observation can catch that we can't see. Because there's not one person on this board, none of our certificated staff, none of our classified, and none of our management, they're all doing a good job. And they think they're doing their job the best. But I bet you, I guarantee I go in there and say, Dr. Murphy, you and I had a chat on the sideline at the soccer game, and we were doing exactly what we're talking about. We were exchanging ideas. I was making observations. You were taking observations to me. I learned from you. You learned from me. And guess what? The kids are going to win. Nothing personal. It's just, here's what it is. It gives us another tool to get better at what we already do good, not what we're doing wrong. It gives us a chance to do better at what we already do good. Let's do it excellent. There's no means to sit there and say, I'm not going to be satisfied. I'm not going to lower the bar so everybody can be happy. When you get to be that A, and the bar's going up. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to keep challenging you to get better. The same way I did my team, same way I did my coaches. I brought in people. I would call people that would watch my game and said, how did we do? Well, gee, well, you really screwed up on that. It was pretty personal for me because I was the head coach. But I took that observation and I didn't take it personal and said, oh, you know what? Went back, I looked at the film. Yeah, there was something we could have done better. I had students telling me how I could do things better. I have athletes coming in and say, Coach, we got to move over here. We got to do this. I said, all right, let's do it. Boom, we win the game because I listened to somebody else making an observation. That's all it is. It's not personal. I want to do better. You want to do better. We want to do better. This is an opportunity for us to do what we do good now, do better, more efficient, better branding, better people say, wow, what the hell is going on over there in Acton? When they go by and they see us, they go like, because I've got one bit of history and then I'm going to climb it because everybody's done talking about this. At the high school, there was the community reaction was that was trailer trash hot. And that offended me to no end. I would talk to my ASB students, I'd talk to my students, I'd talk to my colleagues on the staff, and we say, "Ooh, where are they getting this?" So we were getting this observation from the community. Oh, I said trailer trash hot. Nobody wants to go there. And we had 600-700 students there. And we turned it around because we listened to what we observed and we heard these things and we kept saying, how can we get better? Get better, get better. We've hired an exceptional superintendent. We have some great support staff, and Ms. Shaw and Dr. Mercer. We've got Dr. Murphy, we've got Michelle Van Orn, and we've got Ms. Chung filling in for Miller. We've got a great team. Guess what? You can do it a little bit better. I'm not going to lower the bar and say, hey, nice job. I'm going to say thank you for your hard work and your contribution, but we got to stay hungry. We got to keep moving. And this is going to give us an opportunity through independent observation to give us an idea of things that we don't see. No, and you know, you're right. I can do that better because I want people telling me when I'm not doing my job good. And I take those observations. Now, do I get, oh God, yeah, I'm getting a little okay, but I learn from that and I move forward. Okay, so any other questions from the board? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, no.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 4-1. 12B was tabled. 12C, purchase of sped bus for transportation. And I need a motion to open this, please.
I'll motion.
Chad will second.
Who, Brianna, you motion?
Brianna, yes.
Brianna and Chad, okay. Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. This expenditure is going to be, if approved, coming from the Southwest Special Education Funding. I believe it is the second request, that it's a second bus request, but Mr. Mirza is ready, has the mic in his hand. I'll turn it over to him.
Yeah, this is just the approval of the second bus that was put in the SELPA plan. And the dollars were allocated to purchase 2 school buses.
Any questions from board members?
Kelly? Mr. Mirza, can I use this money to build a swimming pool?
No.
Oh, I don't like you. Go ahead.
Brianna?
Any questions?
Chad?
I have no questions. Thank you for your diligence.
I have one. Is it gonna have polished aluminum wheels? Like Palmdale, I'm so jealous of Palmdale buses. They look great. That's a great brand. The district looks terrific because they got terrific looking buses. I don't know what the heck they're doing. Waxing them, washing, whatever.
It has a wheelchair lift. I can't.
Okay, okay, we're in. I've never seen one.
I
If
do
we're
have
here any later, I'm gonna need it.
When I was at the board conference back in December, I was actually able to tour the brand new buses, and man, do they smell good. So those kids are super lucky, the kids that get to ride on them. So very cool.
Any further questions from the board? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I motion carries 5-0. Let's see, this is what? 12D, City of Palmdale Parks and Recreation Agreement for Vasquez Swim Team Practices. Move to open, please.
Kelly Jensen.
Kelly,
I second. Brianna.
Brianna, second. Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you. Just the agreement highlights, it's quite exciting. If approved, the agreement will go into effect February of this year through April. So a couple of months for 48 uses of the swimming pool for Vasquez swim team for their practices. And the total cost you see there, the dollar amount of $2,983. The funding source is coming from VHS's site funds, school site funds.
Board discussion? I just have one comment. I recall that when I was athletic director, we were using this as McAdam Park, correct?
That's correct.
Correct. And we took our swim team out there. We were able to host swim meets there. We practiced there. And then at the end of our season, they closed it down and now it's a remodeled pool. And it's within distance, so our parents can go and watch their kids swim. And they have lanes and there's volunteers to do the timing and everything like that. So it's a great opportunity for our swim team to actually host an event in our community or close to it, rather than go all the way to the aquatic center in Castaic. So I think it's an awesome thing. Any further discussion from the board?
Are they gonna heat that for the kids? Hope so.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful. Oh, the other thing is they provide the lifeguards and everything. So it's really an awesome setup.
Can I use this money to buy a bus?
No. Chrome wheels maybe, but not a bus. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls grab aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I 5-0 moot carried. 12E, resolution 2021-22.09, authorizing use of remote teleconferencing provisions, AB 361. Motion to open, please.
I'll make a motion.
Kelly,
Brianna Texoni, will second.
Brianna, Dr. Zahakian.
Just really quick, this is a standard monthly, it's a requirement if we are going to go ahead and continue to provide the ability for boards to have remote meetings during emergency state. So
And
AB 361.
And this would be as if there was something that we had to close down because of COVID, we would be able to go right into doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Board discussion?
None.
Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Paul's Graph, aye.
Brianna Texoni, I.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I, carries 5-0. Calendar. June 13th, regular board meeting will be our next, that's moving calendar, that's today. The next board meeting, January 27th, and the following will be February 10th. Future agenda items. Any board member have anything for future agenda items?
What do y'all think about using charter revenue as a revenue source?
Fails to carry, nobody's commenting. I don't have, nobody have anything? Do you have anything, Ben?
No, sir.
No, other than the tabled item will be on a future agenda as you
For-
seem appropriate for that item that we tabled.
Right, perhaps on January 27th for our
27th,
next board
yeah,
meeting.
right.
Correct.
Okay, nothing there? Okay, German, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion, Brianna.
Brianna,
Chad will second it.
Chad seconds. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Staff, thank you for your patience tonight. That needed to get on the table. A door just opened this evening. There will be accountabilities that go with that door being open, but I very much appreciate your willingness to do the work that needs to be done that should have been done for the last decade. Paul's Graph, aye.
Brianna Texoni, I.
Chad Wadsworth, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I. We stand adjourned at 10:17. Thank you, everybody.